Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing balayage highlights on a returning client. Now she's been seeing some grays pop up around her hairline, around her part line. You know how they get crazy. And my client is not ready to embrace those grays just yet. She's still feeling young, she's still looking young, and she wants to play around with some color. So today I'm going to cover those grays, we're going to give her her copper highlights of her dreams, and I'm going to share with you why I think balayage highlights are the best type of highlights to get when you're going gray. Okay, so let's dive in. Alright, to get started, I'm mixing her base color. Now this is close to her natural color, and this is a permanent color. Permanent color means that it is not going to wash out. It will fade a bit, but it will cover those grays completely. Now traditionally, when you were going gray, you really only had two options. Now that is to go dark and to stay dark for the rest of the time, or you can highlight your hair to like blend in with the grays. And either way, you are just stuck in the salon. And honestly, there's not much change or variety when you only have those two options. I see a range of clients in the salon who have like the few pesky grays all the way to like 175% gray. And for those ladies who want to cover up their grays, they still want to play around with color, but they don't want to damage their curls. They don't want to damage their hair and have to stay getting color constantly and being in the salon, because that's a lot of time and that's a lot of money. This is why I love to recommend balayage highlights for my gray coverage clients, because not only is it low maintenance, meaning you can save your curls from having to process over and over again, but then you also get to have variety and play with the type of colors you want and not have to worry about your grays ruining the party. Alright, so after applying my client's base color, I'm going to mix her bleach for her highlights. Now, when it comes to highlighting curly hair, I make sure to always use Olaplex within my lightener. Now, that is because it eliminates breakage from chemical services, because it rebuilds bonds, ensuring that the hair remains strong and healthy throughout the coloring process. Now we know this is important because we want to make sure that her curls remain intact and keep the integrity of her curls even after bleaching. Alright, so as I apply my client's highlights, let's dive into what exactly are balayage highlights. Now the word balayage is actually a French word meaning sweeping, as in we are sweeping that hair lightener to create those highlights. This freehand painting technique allows a soft and natural graduation of color from dark at the roots to light towards the ends. This gives it a more sun-kissed look. Now, what I love the most about balayage highlights is that because you are applying those highlights away from the scalp, away from the roots, is that it allows you to go longer without having to apply highlights and bleach to your hair. As we said before, this is so important to keeping curly hair curling. My next favorite benefit of balayage highlights, especially for my gray coverage clients, is that it allows for a more graceful grow out. And it actually does this in two ways. The first way is that a balayage allows for a more natural transition by blending the gray hair with lighter highlights. It reduces the stark contrast between gray hair and dark hair. The next way it allows for a graceful grow out is that because it's a hand-painted technique, it creates a softer and more natural appearance. This is great for curly hair because sometimes when you do traditional highlights at the roots, your hair starts to look patchy, whether you're wearing it curly or straight. Alright, so here is my client with all her foils in, all her colors in, and she is processing, she is baking. As I keep mentioning, because we are applying those highlights away from her roots, she does not have to come in and do this again for another 6 months to a year. And that's the frequency that I usually see my balayage clients. And if they're covering those grays, I only need to see them when they're ready to retouch the roots. And no bleach is required for that appointment. Alright, so here is my client's hair after washing out that bleach, after washing out that color. At this point, I want to make sure that those curls are still curling, which they are. And I'm checking out the color that her hair lifted to, because now I'm going to formulate and apply her toner. Now, as I apply her toner, let's break down the color that we used in her hair today. Now, like I said before, at her base, we used a permanent color, and that's going to completely cover up those grays. And then we used the bleach to lighten her hair for those highlights. And then the toner is going to deposit that final color that we want, that copper color that she's going for. A toner is so important because it's going to refine the color that we want. Now, the difference between a toner and a permanent color is that a toner is a demi-permanent color. So that means that it will only last in the hair from about 8 to 10 weeks before it fades out. This means it will wash out eventually. Now, where this works out for my gray coverage clients is that whenever you're ready to cover those grays at the root again, this is a great time to play around with those highlights and shift the color. Now that it's washed out, you can do something new that will complement where you're at. This gives you options, and you don't have to keep coming in and getting the same old color done every time. But in full transparency, a lot of my clients like how their color fades out, so I don't really have to mess around with their toner until they're ready to get their fresh highlights again. Alright, so after my client's color finishes processing, I'm going in with the moisture shampoo to get all that color off her hair and also hydrate her hair. Now, I love the moisture shampoo because it is color and keratin safe, so I know it's going to protect her color from fading as I wash it. And we all know that color can be very drying to the hair, especially curly hair. So that's why I want to go with the moisture shampoo, because I know it's going to keep her hair hydrated while locking in that color. After thoroughly shampooing her hair, I'm going in with the deep repair treatment, which is my deep conditioner from my Timely Curly Hair Care line. Now, I love this deep conditioner because it is both a moisturizing and strengthening treatment. It infuses the hair with keratin, which is a natural protein to rebuild the hair, which is so important, especially after receiving color and a lightening service. It also has moisturizing properties, which keeps the hair soft and manageable so that you can get through wash day quickly. This is perfect for my gray coverage clients because we know gray hair is drier, a more wiry texture. So a deep conditioner is so good at helping keep the hair more manageable. Alright, to further push in that deep conditioning treatment and further hydrate her hair, I'm going in with a steam treatment. Now, a steam treatment is a game changer if you are dealing with consistent dryness, not only of the hair but of the scalp too. So if you have constant dandruff, dry and itchy scalp, a steam treatment is great for you as well. This is great for my client after getting her color done and just to give her hair a good moisture boost. Alright, so after steaming and rinsing, I'm going in with the Emergency Miracle Treatment, which is my leave-in conditioner. After washing your hair, a leave-in conditioner is so important to make sure that your hair holds on to moisture for longer. And a leave-in conditioner is so important if you have naturally curly hair, because our hair tends to be drier than all the other textures, and our hair thrives off of moisture. So you want to make sure that a leave-in conditioner is the first step before any style you do. To protect her hair from heat while blow drying, I'm going in with Lait Dew, which is my blow dry cream. Now, a blow dry cream is a game changer if you blow dry your hair, because we all know that blow drying your hair can leave your hair so dry and crunchy. A blow dry cream is amazing because that cream has that moisture content, so it'll push moisture into your hair and help smooth out your hair as it's getting blown out, so that you don't have to use so much heat and you'll be able to keep moisture in your hair. This leaves the hair feeling so soft after it's blown out. Alright, and to further aid in heat protection and to speed up drying time, I'm going in with the amethyst oil. I love the amethyst oil because it leaves the hair so silky and so shiny. A little goes a long way, and it's so lightweight that it just penetrates deep into the hair so it doesn't leave your hair weighed down. Alright, so as I blow out her hair, let's dive into some tips for when you're taking care of your hair color at home. Alright, so in order to prevent your hair color from fading, you want to wash your hair less, but you also don't want to dry your hair out, which is why I always recommend people with curly hair to wash their hair once a week. When you wash your hair once a week, you allow your hair to hold on to moisture because you don't allow it to dry out. This doesn't only go for your hair, but it goes for your scalp as well. If you are dealing with dandruff and a dry scalp, you want to wash your hair once a week as well to keep your scalp hydrated and keep dandruff at bay. And when you do wash your hair, always be sure to follow up with a deep conditioner, especially when you have color treated hair. This will keep your hair not only hydrated, but strong. And while we're on this tip, be sure that all your shampoos and conditioners are color safe. Alright, so after blow drying and trimming her hair, I'm going back in with the amethyst oil, and that's going to be our pressing oil for the day. It has that heat protection and it's going to leave her hair so silky and shiny for this silk press. Alright, so as I finish up by flat ironing her hair, let's get into this last tip, which is when you have color treated hair, the name of the game is to keep your hair cuticles closed, because when you keep your hair cuticles closed, it helps your hair strand hold on to that color to prevent it from fading out. This means you want to avoid washing your hair in hot water, you want to avoid heat styling tools, and even brushing your hair really hard can open up your cuticles, and using harsh chemicals in your hair products. Using a deep conditioner once a week will help keep your hair strong and keep those cuticles closed. Alright, and here are the results. We love the blend of these copper highlights. We loved how it blended in with her natural hair and her skin complexion. It was the proper, like, light penny copper color. And you can see that it's a great blend from her roots to her ends. It looks so natural without being like, oh girl, you need to get a retouch. As we look to the front, you can see that those highlights are away from her scalp, but the blend is there. And it looks so graceful, and it's gonna be so easy for her to grow her hair out without it looking crazy. This is why my clients are able to go 6 months to a year without needing a retouch. Like I said before, whenever those grays start to come back in around her roots, she could just come back and get her roots retouched with that base color. We don't have to use any more bleach. And if she wants to play around with the gloss for her highlights, she can do that as well. If you want to see another gray coverage transformation, check out this upcoming video. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!